Welcome back to the Most Valuable Player podcast. My name is B-Man. I'm here with Sosa. We're back again with another episode, but this is a special one because we're starting the basketball one again. Yeah, boy!
Yes!
LeBron James! How are you?
Ah, man. I've been wanting to talk basketball for so long, man.
Seriously.
For so long.
Do you know what's funny? We haven't, over the summer, we hadn't really done any podcast, period. Yeah. And we missed the draft. We missed the...
we missed the NBA Finals.
Free agent signings. We missed the NBA Finals.
Like we did the Portland, the Dame Lillard walk-off game.
That's the last thing that we did.
That was the last thing we did.
Yeah.
And then radio
and the
silence.
Finals was like one of that was left-sided, that Finals. That came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't come out of nowhere. The Golden State Warriors. Do you know what? I said we weren't going to start on the Finals, but can I just mention one thing about the Finals?
Go on then.
Do you know, I'm a serial LeBron fan. Yeah, I'm a serial LeBron fan. And I've always had excuses for him. Always. Yeah? So I'm going to line up all the excuses for you right now. Yeah? And then I'll tell you why, why I felt a type of way about that Finals.
Let's hear him.
Last year in Miami, Dwayne Wade was injured.
Okay.
Yeah? Was a big deal. All the players were getting old. LeBron had to do a lot on his own, and the San Antonio Spurs are built not to allow really anybody to be like a one-man wrecking ball. They're just a team. They will demolish you if you're going to come with that one-man mentality. Okay, that's 1 year. The year after that in Cleveland, both Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love were injured, and I stand by that.
Okay.
If both of them were fit, they would have won. Yeah? Next year, LeBron wins it. The 2 years after that, LeBron loses again. Why? Let's be honest, that Golden State Warriors team was the best team ever to be assembled.
It's KD.
Yeah. It's not just KD. It's KD, Steph, Clay, Draymond Green.
Yeah, if it was just the Warriors, that's a different story. But
yeah, but do you see where the excuses that I've been using? And I thought, although the last two, there's nothing we can do about it. It's not like the Golden State Warriors broke any rules. They didn't, right? So kudos to them. The injury one is the one that bugged me. So now everyone is gassed about Kawhi Leonard winning the Finals, and they're like, oh, Kawhi, he's top 3, top 2 player, he might even be the best now in the world, whatever. But let's pause on that for a second and really think about what happened in that Finals. KD was gone. Klay Thompson was hobbling all the way through. Well, he was hobbling most of the way through.
Yeah.
And Steph Curry was playing with like a broken finger. Now, he's shooting, so that does have an effect. The point I'm trying to make is, if everything was right and everyone was fit, they would have gotten swept. The Toronto Raptors would have gotten swept. Maybe perhaps they might have won a game. It'd be a beachum stretch for them to win the second one. But I'm telling you, no way were they ever going to win if KD was fit.
Listen, yeah, first and foremost, credit to Masai Ujiri for winning the Toronto Raptors their first championship, because it's his championship. Okay. It's no one else's.
History will always dictate that he won it. Yes,
he won it. Yeah. But if you're gonna do that, you're gonna have to put an asterisk on nearly everyone else that's won a title, because it's a case of there's always been injuries on the way.
Yeah.
There's never been a time where it's been one team's completely healthy and completely like fully fit against another team that's exactly the same. It just doesn't happen like that. Whereas that game, I get where you're coming from. There was no KD for most of the game. They had Boogie, who was kind of a shell of himself. And you're right, Clay was hobbling. And it didn't help that he did his ACL as well.
Yeah.
But you can't take it away from what they did. The fact that because it wasn't just...
Of course
it wasn't just the Warriors.
No. Yeah, sorry. I didn't
it wasn't just the Warriors. I get where you're coming from with, I'm giving LeBron James excuses, because, yeah, he had valid excuses for not winning certain times. But you can't just say, because of those excuses, he would have definitely won those.
No, they would have definitely won those. You're trying to tell me...
Well, what I'm saying is...
that it would still be the same if KD was fully fit.
The thing is, we don't know that. We can't say that.
But we do.
Like, this is an if now.
No, but we do. There's no team in the league that could have stopped them if Golden State Warriors were fully healthy.
100%.
That's what I'm saying.
But that's never going to happen in real life. In real life.
But it did. The 2 years before that, they were fit. And they demolished everyone.
Yeah, but they didn't three-peat. That's what everyone expected them to do.
Because of the injuries.
Exactly. And that's a part of the game.
I know it's part of the game, but that's what I am saying. I'm saying if
You can't.
but
you can't
what I'm
label
saying
that.
is no. What I'm saying is there's whenever the Golden State Warriors were wins or whatever, there's always been a reason why. It's like they were discredited.
Look, you can.
You're saying now that the Toronto Raptors don't discredit them. The Golden State Warriors have been getting discredited since the first championship that they won. Every championship they've been saying, people have been saying, oh, it's they shouldn't have won it. It's unfair. They're cheating, or oh, they got lucky. Like all their titles were discredited. Why on earth are we sitting here? What, just because it's Toronto Raptors and they won their first? Nah, forget that. No, we should apply that same pressure on Toronto Raptors, which is really, and kudos to them. They won at the end of the day. And like I said, history will know them as the champions of the 2019 NBA Finals. But what I'm saying is, yo, bruh, they got lucky. They got very lucky that the second best player in the world was not playing when the third best player in the world was. And that was Steph Curry.
You know what's crazy? Those teams, if they if they played each other tomorrow, they'd be completely different teams now.
Yeah.
Like they'd be completely different teams now.
Toronto, I think that's like a good way to get into the next spot. It's like and this is probably a really late conversation, but I really wanted to talk to you about this, is the amount of moves that have happened since the window opened for trades and signings and whatnot.
This is like I read somewhere that this is like the most all NBA players being traded or being moved in a single season.
It's because for some reason everyone was out of contract. Everyone's like, what was the percentage again?
It's like they said almost 60%.
Yeah, that was the number, wasn't it?
60%
of the league was a free agent. But
that's insane.
What do you take of like an overall broad view of
I mean,
of all the signings?
It helped restore. Well, it. I don't want to say it restored balance to the league because we don't know what these changes have made to role players, which can have a significant say on how teams perform.
Sure.
But there is no quote unquote dynasty that we can look out for.
Sure.
I feel like it's helped, but at the same time, it's hindered certain teams.
Yeah.
Like, for example, a team like the Milwaukee Bucks, they had so much cap space available to them. They did. They did. They did. The thing was, they had cap holds on guys like Chris Middleton, Eric Beck was actually kind of signed during the playoffs though, that contract.
Okay.
But they had, theoretically, they had enough for 2 max slots. But they ended
Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah.
With Giannis's contract, they had space for 2 max.
Because they had that many free agents. They had Mirotic, they had Ilyasova, they had Brogdon was a free agent, they had Middleton that's a free agent. Pretty much Hill was a free agent. They had so many free agents in the team.
Oh, and they ended up re-signing all of them.
Pretty much.
Except for Malcolm Brogdon.
Yeah.
That was a dumb move.
Exactly, because they didn't have because Milwaukee's not a team that's going to attract a superstar free agent. So they just have to do what they can.
Do you know what what my take is on Milwaukee Bucks? They've got one of the best players in the league, but they'll never win a ring because Giannis will never be able to do it on his own, and Chris Middleton is not the second man that he needs.
He's more of a third option to a second option.
He's a good shooter, yeah, but you're right. It just needs a bit more. It's like Giannis has to do a lot more than what he really should.
Giannis is a free agent in 2021.
Hoy.
That
Giannis to New York? Is that what people are saying?
Him, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George.
All in the same time.
All going to be free agents at the same time. That's going to be a crazy free agency.
That's going to be a crazy free agency.
But I think in regards to, who do you reckon had the? I know you're going to say it, but who do you reckon had the best off season so far?
Without a doubt, it was the Clippers.
I think in regards to Clippers, they improved where they needed to. They got 2-star players that they desperately needed because they had the role players and the system around them. I feel that LA probably had not a good season as them or a good off season as them, but they did really well as far as like signing players go. They did really well. It's just unfortunate that Boogie got injured again. But the fact that they picked up, guys like Danny Green that they needed.
They've got Dwight Howard now as well to replace.
They've made a lot of changes which were needed, and I think that they are probably the team to look out for.
What, the Lakers?
Yeah.
Absolutely no chance. You know the Clippers are almost to look out for.
My only concern with the Clippers is if they can all stay healthy.
Okay, yeah, but outside of LeBron, AD, and Kyle Kuzma, what else do they have?
That's pretty much it. I mean, to be fair, if you've got LeBron and AD, what else do you need?
A bench?
I mean, they could figure that out. They've probably got some draft picks.
The bench? No, they don't. They don't have no draft picks to give anymore.
Oh yeah, they
But they are.
they ran out of that.
I heard all like Vegas and everyone like really putting the Lakers on a high pedestal. Although Vegas has got Clippers to win it all, but Vegas it's never written in stone. And the Lakers like a close second. I just don't think that the Lakers have got anything outside of those top three. And let's be honest, you're talking about the Clippers staying fit. I can't remember the last time AD was able to stay fit for a whole season. If anything, LeBron for the first time in his career had a lengthy layoff. What's to say he doesn't have another lengthy layoff again?
There are a lot of questions.
There are a lot of questions.
A guy like LeBron James, this was a one-off injury that he's had that I've never seen him have an injury like this before. Yeah. I don't know if this is going to be a catalyst for him to have more injuries, which I hope doesn't.
Yeah.
I hope this is just a one-off, and it's a case of it was out of the norm.
Yeah.
I imagine him playing around 70 odd games this season.
Yeah. Hold up, I need to make sure that my laptop keeps going, because if it doesn't, this is going to turn off, and then everything would have been for nothing. So apologies. Continue.
So yeah, as long as I reckon LeBron James, he should be playing around 70 games a season.
Yeah, roughly.
As long as you can get that, and then as long as they can make the playoffs to like above 4 seed, that's probably their aim right now.
Yeah.
In fact, here's a better question for you. As far as teams go, who do you reckon has had the most underrated off season so far as signings go?
I think in the grand scheme of it all, I think the team that was like, I looked at and I was like, like they actually built something here, is the New Orleans Pelicans. So not only did they go a lot younger, normally I'd look at that team and say, well, they are about 2, 3, 4, 5 years away from really competing, but I can see that team doing a lot of damage this year. Not to say that they're going to make into the playoffs or anything, but they could make a name for themselves that could scare a lot of people off.
Yeah.
I'm not off Lonzo fully yet. This would be, for me, this is going to be the deciding season whether or not I'm going to believe that he's a bust or not. And yes, I did use that word bust. But same goes for Ingram. Same goes for Josh Hart. They've got Zion. They signed JJ Redick as well.
Yeah.
And they picked up a few more rookies in the draft, like, to really underrated. And I wouldn't personally, if they've got enough energy to keep running up and down, to me, they would be quite a surprise, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
I've
heard them being rumoured as a playoff.
I have, which is premature.
It is premature. There's so many teams that are vying for a playoff spot, and you got to think, who the hell's going to drop out?
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't see, maybe if any of the teams that could drop out, potentially the Spurs, obviously we expect OKC not to be making it into the playoffs.
Yeah.
This is another question about the off-season so far. There's been Westbrook going to the Rockets, and Chris Paul now on the Thunder.
That Westbrook deal was kind of dumb, wasn't it? Has he not got the second worst contract in the league?
I mean, I get it. His timeline matches with James Harden because they're relatively the same age.
Yeah.
So I get that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's gonna make him push him over the edge.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for Chris Paul now. I don't feel sorry for him because he's gonna get paid like 40 odd million by the time it's 30.
He's gonna be in a situation that he doesn't want to be in.
Exactly.
He tried to force his way out by going to Miami Heat, but the Heat didn't want to give up Tyler Herro and a couple of other picks and whatnot. But let's say now, Chris Paul is in a situation that he doesn't want to be in, and apparently, Adam Silver said that he was going to have a look at the contracts and how players are signing when they've got while they've got like a significant amount of time left on their contract. And the argument is should players respect the contracts that they've been given? Right? They should respect, if they sign a 5-year contract, they can't then try and force their way out. And I really looked at that statement and I was like, okay, well, I've seen players being forced to move to other teams. And it's not like this team is around the corner. It's not like it's just like a simple drive away. I've seen teams being traded from one end of the country to the other, and America's massive. And if a team can pull a plug on players, why should a player not have the power to pull the plug on a team? And I'm just specifically focusing on AD, and I'm focusing on Paul George. Paul George's got 2 good years left on his contract, and he literally just went, yeah, forget that, I'm walking out. Trade me now. And although they did get something good in return, this is going to set a really, for me, a good precedent, for teams a bad precedent, because now players are really starting to realize, like, look, we've got this power now. If I want to leave, I am going to leave, and you're going to find a way to do it, or I will.
I get where Adam Silver's coming from, because if you're going to make a commitment to a team, like, because I feel like these contracts they're getting, it's not a commitment to, the way I see it is, it's not a commitment to the team, it's a commitment to the NBA.
True.
And so it's like, I'm going to be in the NBA for this much time. I want, because back in the day, guys would sign 5-year contracts because they needed this security.
Say that sentence one more time.
Guys back in the day.
Yeah, no, you said that when they signed a contract, they saying, well, something about the NBA.
Oh, they're not signing a contract for the teams. They signed the contract for the NBA, to be in the NBA.
I never looked at it that way.
Because it doesn't matter what team they're on, they're going to get paid the same regardless.
Okay.
Like, they might be trade kickers and things like that, but they're going to get paid regardless.
True.
But back in the day, guys would sign a contract for security. They'd sign it because they want to be secured for like 5 years. That's why they had those long contracts.
Yeah.
And then I think it was like years, and before that was like 8-year contracts they could do.
Yeah.
Like, they could get 10-year contracts if they wanted to.
Yeah.
But now it's like they've limited that.
Yeah.
Now you're getting contracts that are being ballooned now to really high amounts.
Yeah.
Guys getting like $200 million contracts for 5 years. When in reality, it's like the money's great. The length of time is just not necessary for a guy of his stature.
True.
Like, if it's a case of they're going to put emphasis on players, actually sticking to the contracts and actually being loyal to the contracts, then yeah, it would make more sense that if they sign that contract, then it's compulsory for them to stay for at least half that term of the contract. Because otherwise, you could sign a 5-year deal tomorrow and then get shipped out to another team. Whereas it's not just a case of the player being subject to it, but the team have to be subject to keeping that player at that team as well. So it's a two-way street.
Yeah. So now there's a lot more pressure on teams to make sure that they keep the superstar happy by actually making the right moves to make sure that they realize, look, we're trying to build a winner here. And in a sense, with the thing with OKC though, the funny thing is, apparently these are rumors, whether it's true or not, I don't know, but you know how basketball works. When they say they're rumors, usually they're true. Is that before Paul George ended up going to the Clippers, apparently they tried to trade Paul George and Westbrook for Kyle Lowry and Pascal Siakam in
yes, that's an interesting
in Toronto.
one.
But Toronto said no because they didn't want to be involved in any deal that would cause them to lose Pascal Siakam. Which is strange because without a superstar, I don't know how much Pascal Siakam could do. I can't see him as a number one option.
He's going to be... last season, he didn't have to worry about double teams and things like that.
Exactly.
Now it's going to be a case where he's going to figure that out. But I think he's got to a point where he's able to, to rise to occasions now. Yeah. I think he'd be all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting with these contracts, man.
Can we just talk about how, really quickly before we wrap it all up, how Kawhi finessed the entire league?
Oh, he finessed them real good.
And let's be honest, did he not completely discredit all the pundits? And this is the first time I realized, I was like, yo, these pundits don't know what the hell they're talking about. They're always like, oh, well, I think this is going to happen. And I always thought that they had some kind of in. Like Stephen A. Smith, for some reason, like, I feel like he always had like some type of in. Like he knew things before, like Woj, for example. Woj is a different type of thing.
Yeah,
but they all speculated. They all speculated. Not a single person was right.
I remember Jalen Rose saying, yeah, he's going to be a Laker. He's going to be a Laker.
100. I am 100% sure.
Dude, I remember when it happened. This is a few months ago. There was some guy on Twitter who was like, yeah, I've been speaking to some sources, and he's gonna be joining the Lakers. Apparently, he's had a meeting with Magic, and like this guy, like he must have had like 30 followers, got like 2K retweets, and everyone's like, well, this guy's sourcing him. And I'm like, who is this guy though? Who is this guy? And it's like everyone and their dog was just chasing Kawhi Leonard. They had helicopters out for this guy.
They did.
Like everyone was like looking out, like, where's he going?
But you know what's funny is apparently he had enrolled his daughter in a school in Toronto, and everyone's like, oh well, he's resigning with Toronto because clearly he signed her up. Then apparently he went to the Lakers, had a meeting with them, and literally as soon as that meeting was over, he went to the Clippers and said, look, listen, I'll sign with you guys if we get a superstar here. While he had pretty much in like he basically had the Los Angeles Lakers on hold. Basically, it's like, well, hold up, call up.
Yeah, I heard that was the reason why it took so long.
Yeah, it's because it was just waiting for them to make the deal. Crazy.
That's insane, man.
Alright, cool, but we're gonna put a stop to it there. Guys, we appreciate you guys so much for listening. We're gonna come back with another basketball podcast every week. Please like, subscribe, and we'll be back again soon.
Don't forget to comment, leave comments down below.
Yes.
And leave a like. Peace.